What up, YouTube? This is True Hero coming at you with a video about Superpoly. The card has made a comeback in terms of the anime, and in accordance with that, Konami has revealed that they will be reprinting the card. So we will get to see this card reprinted. And what I think this begs, in terms of I think this begs the question: what does Konami have in mind in terms of Superpoly and the ban list? For those of you that don't know, swap over really quickly. Super Poly is banned as of right now, and it was banned really because of Shaddolls. Shaddolls are really able to abuse this card very heavily. For those who don't know or don't remember what Super Poly's effect was, discard one card, send from either side of the field to the graveyard fusion material monsters that are listed on a fusion monster card, then special summon that monster from your extra deck. This special summon is treated as a fusion summon, of course. Spell, traps, and card effects cannot be activated in response to this card's activation. So, of course, prior to Shaddoll's, really the only deck that you saw this splashed in was Heroes, because of course Heroes have their fusion monsters, their Omni Heroes for every archetype. But once Shaddolls enter the fold, Shaddolls were really able to abuse this card not only because they went plus off of the monster that they would send to the graveyard, but they would also be go plus if they sent a Shaddoll monster from their hand to the graveyard for the cost in order to activate Super Poly. So essentially they were going +2 and then summoning out one of their fusion monsters, which was pretty ridiculous. And what made it worse, of course, is the last part of the effect of Super Poly, which is that card effects cannot be activated in response to this. So no Magic Jammer, no Solemn Judgment, no Cyber Dragon Infinity, nothing. If this card gets flipped up, you're losing a monster and your opponent's putting something on board. But now that Shaddolls have been hit and crippled that the way they are, and now that we know Konami is reprinting this card, I think it's an interesting discussion to talk about whether or not Super Poly could or even if it should come back. So first of all, I think Super Poly could make a comeback. Now that Shaddolls have been hit to the extent that they have, I think it's certainly plausible. One of the big arguments against Super Poly ever coming back is, of course, the fact that you can't activate cards in response to it. That inherently makes the card broken. But I think the reason that Super Poly was fine before Shaddolls is because you didn't see people going plus off of it in the way that Shaddolls were. Even in Heroes, okay, they took off a monster from your board and special summon an Omni Hero. But they weren't going plus off of any of the monsters they sent to grave from their side of the field. They weren't going plus off of the cost that they had to pay in order to activate Super Poly. And again, today you could even make the argument that Super Poly in Heroes has its advantages and disadvantages because you do need a card in hand to activate it, which of course messes with the deck synergy in terms of Bubble Man, who of course you need to set everything in order to activate his effect to special summon him. Bubble Man is of course your major way of going to XZ monsters. So in terms of Super Poly being broken in Heroes, yes, is it an obnoxious card to deal with? Absolutely. I will never make an argument to the contrary, but I definitely don't think it's broken, especially when we look at it in comparison to what was done with it with another archetype. Now, another thing to take into consideration in terms of Super Poly is that we do have a lot more fusion archetypes out and about right now that are certainly playable. Of course, we have Metal Foes, we have Fluffles. Debatable about whether or not that you could ever consider that meta, even with Super Poly. We will have the new. I'm sorry, I'm about to butcher these cards' names. Eidolon Beasts, which will be coming out, and they've been announced. We've gotten a few glimpses at the cards that will be offered to us in terms of fusion monsters, and we see that they've already started their trend of giving them a fusion monster for each archetype. Now, it's hard to say right now whether or not Super Poly will make this archetype inherently broken, but from what we can see right now, that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. And the reason I make that argument is because, again, it doesn't seem as if these beasts will be able to go plus off of it the way Shaddolls were, where you send one of your fusion materials to the grave, you send another monster of this archetype to the grave as the cost, you go +2, and then get to summon a fusion monster. That doesn't seem to be the case here, and I think just being able to summon a big fusion monster without having to worry about Cyber Dragon Infinity or ABC Dragon or banishing one of your fusion materials off board, I don't think that that is inherently broken. I don't think that makes the card broken. I think again what made the card so ridiculous was going +3 while your opponent went -1, referring of course to the monster that they had stolen off their side of the board. Um, so I don't think Super Poly coming back into the meta would be such an awful idea as of right now. Again, if this card is put at 3, at 2, maybe we could see some difficulties in terms of this card getting a little bit out of hand. But certainly at 1, and you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna say at 1, even at 2, I don't think this card would be as abusable as it was in the past. Again, I could be wrong. Please offer me comments in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear your guys' arguments as to whether or not Super Poly should stay banned or should be released. But from where I stand right now, I don't think that Super Poly poses as big a threat as it did back in the past. So again, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you think Super Poly should be unbanned? Do you think it's possible? Do you think that Konami reprinting it is a little hint that this will be something that they'll do in the future, or at least they'll be considering? Let me know. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. What's up, YouTube? This is True Hero. So the irony of this section of this video is that I had planned on making a video about Super Poly last night when I read the news about Super Poly being reprinted, and then today I came into a card shop to find that some clients of ours wanted to make a sale, get rid of some old Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and we got a ton of great stuff from them, including an El Shaddoll. So of course, I had to slip this card in. I had to give you guys a little peek at this card. Um, so we have this among with a bunch of other stuff that are going up. I still just chuckle that this card came into my possession right after I was putting some of the finishing touches on this video. But again, as always, we have plenty of merchandise online for you guys to check out. Whoops, not quite done loading those photos. There we go. Thank you, eBay. Tons of great stuff for you guys to check out online. Of course, I will be leaving a link to all of these cards in the description below, and I will also slip in a direct link to our El Shaddoll Fusion card for you guys to check out, of course, in honor of the discussion of Super Poly and the abusiveness that Shaddolls had over that card in the past. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Like and subscribe for more videos.